Rasul, what up, yo? I'm gonna have to get on this one. Yo, the mic Kane and Moor bite flow tight like Moor to blood moons full reflecting sun's light. At night, Moor's order of round table setters. I self-law, a master is more than letters. Vocal mudra, I write spells by spelling. Tone intelligent, no need for SETI yelling. Black power, most won't check what we're taught. Power is all illusion, it's all about force. Thoughts make magistrates bend, not back spasms. Active more stand on squares when that happens. Ancestors step out of realms into beings. Pen one wizard, make them reveal eyes of lizards. Seeing, never doubt self, Allah and man will force one to inner, under and overstand. If man's hand can extend past Allah, what your ancient foremothers and forefathers are. You are with no doubt or contradiction. 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 I wear beads of Buddhist cause I know I'm as Asiatic a prophet. You think he's black, just stop it. Solomon said I'm black, belong to a nation. I respect that more than what black power's saying.
Not even a movie card
Yeah.
you get without having something backed up with something else, right?
Yeah.
Because that stands for something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we ready?
Yeah. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Islam.
Islam.
To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the last few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. We also want to read the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Moorish Moor Science Temple of America was founded by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Aside from the fact that it is a legally organized religious corporation, it is building on human needs. To this desirable end, in time legitimate, means will be found to dispense charity and provide for the mutual assistance of its members in times of distress, to aid in the improvement of health and to encourage the ownership of better homes, to find employment for our members, to teach those fundamental principles which are desired for our salvation, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance and unity. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moor Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. We of the Moor Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, know that we must live together here in America in harmony, friendship and goodwill, whatever your race and creed may be. It is only from a purely religious standpoint, it seems at this time, that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. We believe in and foster the Muslim religion. We believe in the principles of its teachings insofar as they can be adopted in American life. We feel that the Christian religion is all right for those who prefer it. In America, religious freedom is guaranteed all under the Constitution. We are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from our greatest plight, economic slavery. We believe this can be best done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own business enterprises and cultivating our own acres of land. We welcome into our folds men and women of our group of all sections, all trades, occupations, and professions of sound mind and good character. We are friends and servants of humanity. We are dedicated to the purpose of elevating the moral, social, and economic status of our people. We have set about to do this through a wide and comprehensive program embodying the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So it's clear to the Moors that we are interested in freeing ourselves from our children from our greatest plight, economic slavery. So that's the same message that the Moors are presenting with the credit union. Freeing ourselves from the plight of economic slavery. How would we do that? Because we would have our own institution to go to get what we want as far as our economic whatever. Right? It would be an institution founded by Moors, run by Moors, with only Moors as the quote-unquote clients. Right? So, again, we'll put it out there, unitytemple14@gmail.com. If anybody is interested in getting some more info about the credit union, make sure you contact Brother Kenneth L. to get your info about the credit union. Right now is survey time, so you should be inquiring about how can I get the survey, and fill the survey out, send the survey in before you're asking any other questions with regard to the credit union. Because no other question matters other than where's the survey, so I can send it back. Right? Second thing, for all the people who have an issue with Cujo and how Cujo deals with certain things or whatever like that, right? You can F out of here, because Dirty Moors have infused itself into the Moorish movement, and some people have stayed in it, some people have left. But the fact remains that there is a strong vibration out there trying to get people to not be on this info by any means necessary. One of these individuals was the sister that we were dealing with when we first came in, 2010. You can just go Google Kudro Adwell malnourished child, and all this stuff will come up from when we were in the news and newspapers, and everybody was covering Moor Science Temple of America for a week, right? Because of this sister. Who, by the way, she got her children back from children's services and all that because she sold out, right? She sold out her birthrights, sold out her children's birthrights, sold out the father of the children's birthrights, right? In order to be good nigger today. Now, we know that these people are, we know that people claim that they're down with the Moorish movement or whatever, you know what I mean, and claim that, you know, this doesn't mean nothing and whatever like that. But they stay constantly trying to engage Moors. Like, they don't want nothing to do with this, but they want Moors around or whatever. So I got this letter addressed to Erica Keynes, which is the name of the sister, from August 9, 2017, from Janet P. Daby, D-A-B-Y, barrister and solicitor. Civil Certificate Account Form, Form 51, Legal Aid Ontario. So legal aid is basically, you know, when people don't got money or whatever, they can go to the court, and the court's going to hit them up with their, you know, officer to help them in their affairs. Now, the question arises in 2017, why is Erica King's lawyer sending her stuff to my address? Right now, we don't live on the same floor. We live in the same building, but we don't live on the same floor.
All right.
Right? I never gave her my address or whatever to use, per se. Right? But clearly people out here playing games. So when Moors talk BS about, you know, well, Kudro, you should, you know, calm down and stuff like that. FOH, STFU, GTFOH, and all that stuff.
I gotta figure that one
because these people playing games out here, right? Straight playing games out here, and they continue playing their game because nobody ever puts scimitar to these people's neck. Same thing with the dirty Moors in the town, people selling packages and doing whatever else. You know what I mean? How many other Moors you hear engage dirty Moors, right, and have a tribunal for them to remove them, right? Ain't nobody but us. But everybody got issues with somebody doing something to them or whatever like that, and then nobody's stepping to the plate to do something to the individuals. Forget blaming the temple, forget blaming the info, forget blaming Noble Drew Ali, forget blaming whatever. Look at yourself and look at that individual who played you and recognize that you and them have issues that you need to straighten out before you do anything else, especially if they played you. Right? Like,
Still trying to figure out what all those...
yeah, like Grand Sheikh Taj taught us, teaches us still today, right? Being Moorish American is not about making friends. Being Moorish American is not about being liked by somebody and somebody likes you. Being Moorish American is about taking the responsibility that Noble Drew Ali took to make sure we go out here and wake up these people, because if these people aren't woke, they're going to be collateral damage for this beast system. Doesn't matter whether they're repping some Black Lives Matter, doesn't matter whether they're repping some Negro, African, whatever, right? There's a bona fide fact that they're going to be collateral damage, right? That's just what it is, right? They are going to be collateral damage. Please, Mark. Okay. The other thing that we want to address, which today's freestyle Sunday, but there were some other things we wanted to get on the record, because again, the colonial powers are doing everything in their power to wake up our people. They're doing everything in their power to wake up our people, right? Our people have this mentality that people are against them and people don't like them and whatever, right? But the reality is that these people who so-called, unconscious Moors would say, cracker and the devil and whatever like that. These people are telling these people to their face everything, but they don't want to hear it. They don't want to recognize that even the so-called Europeans are taking the position of making sure that they show supreme honor to the Moors. Supreme honor, right? So, yesterday, they had this state of emergency, white nationalist rallying and stuff like that. Everybody mad. People want to go down there and march and stuff like that. Remember, this is not a Black Lives Matter thing. This is a European thing, right? At this European thing, somebody's jumping in a car running over those people, right? Somebody's jumping in a car running over those people. Now, what we have to address is why the so-called clan is meeting in Charlottesville. Virginia. Keep in mind, Virginia is the same place where the Moors are doing the credit union. Keep in mind, Virginia is the same place where the Moors have Moorish colony. Keep it the same. Keep in mind, Virginia is the same place where in the in 1900s they had fairs with Moroccan themes. Keep in mind, Virginia is the same place where the program by Moors, Men of Distinction, is running, where the city of Virginia recognized these Moors, not over the mouth or whatever, with come on down, get an award for the work that you're doing under Men of Distinction to try to wake up our people, especially the children, to, being responsible. Now, we're going to go to Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. Page 92. Poland has a Mora with a Negro. France has many families as Moret, Morel, Morco, Moreau, Moro, and many other derivatives of Moor, M-A-U-R, represented by Negroes. Lenoir, which is still used in France for the black man, was one of the great French families with branches in Anjou, Normandy, Brittany, and Beaune, B-E-A-U-N-E, has a Negro. The family Negre, N-E-G-R-E, still used by the French for Negro, also has a Negro. Ming Lis et Justine de Sorbier, married to Jean de Negre and a lady, Marie Dable. Italian families with variations of Moor as Moretti, Morini, Morelli, with Negroes are many. The same is true for those with variations of Negro as Negrina, Negrona, Negra, Saracen, another term for Negro. Saracen, another term for Negro, have families as Saraceni and Saraceno with Negroes. The story of the three citrons in the Pentameron by Basile, the black slave wife of Prince Taddeo, is called a Saracena. Wade says also Moors, M-O-O-R-S, or Moors, M-O-O-R-S, are supposed to generally refer to Saracens. In continental heraldry, as in British one, Negroes are shown as wild or woodsmen, that is savages, just as are some of the whites. Negroes, like whites, also wear crowns and cornets. Among the Negroes are Moor von Stossel, Startorius of Schwanenfeld, Whirl of Germany, Pernet of Switzerland, Thomendorf of Poland, Cornier of France, Kolorther of Germany is a Negro woman wearing a crown, with Vogtman, Schroer, and Vendelho of Germany the same. Seidmacher Wappenbach of 8 volumes, already mentioned, has a great number of Negroes, some of them with crowns and others as cardinals and archbishops. With these Negroes in German nobility, the evident Negro strain in Queen Charlotte Sophia, consort of George III of England, who was a German princess, might be explained. See her portrait. Right? So Charlottesville in Virginia is named after Queen Charlotte Sophia. Now, why are these people who so-called hate niggers or whatever going to the city named after a nigger for their march? If they hate so-called black people so much, and they're against black people and all that stuff, right? It's no different than these jokers that claim they don't like Moors. They don't want nothing to do with Moors, right? They can't stand Moors, but they're gonna go do all their lectures and their debates or whatever at the Alhambra Ballroom, which is Moorish. But they don't like Moors. But they're gonna do their lectures at the Alhambra Ballroom. KKK is gonna go and march, picket, rally, whatever in Charlotte. They have mad towns in Virginia that they can go to. You think they go to Charlotte for no reason? You think they're not trying to stress a point to have Charlottesville flashed on the TV? KKK is in Charlottesville. KKK is in Charlottesville. Who's picking up on the message as to why they're talking about Moors on TV? Because remember, Charlottesville comes from Queen Charlotte Sophia. So every single news broadcast, every single whoever, they're talking about Moors for the past 24 hours or whatever. If you look at the bottom of the screen, they'll tell you Charlottesville, Virginia. Every time, every single station. You think that they're not trying to send a signal to people who have a mind open or an eye open? Think they're just doing that just because? Right? So we wanted to also address the forerunner, Marcus Garvey, with his position with regard to clans and stuff like that. Because he was making a point to the Garveyites, and they might have missed the point. They might have missed the point. Philosophies and Opinions, page 340. With Marcus Garvey at Atlanta. This pamphlet was brought to the attention of your great leader and he corresponded with Major Cox. At last June, when I went down to Georgia to address the Georgia legislature in favor of a bill for the preservation of racial integrity, I went to the prison to see Marcus Garvey. I expected to see a man with a bowed head. I expected to see a man depressed and unhappy and embittered, because in the meantime, I had read his appeal to the soul of white America, and it had touched me to my heart. When I saw him, I saw a man with a head erect, with eyes open and clear, unashamed and unafraid, free from all bitterness, free from rancor. Not one word of complaint escaped his lips, not one word of bemoaning. His one thought was for you, his people, and his loyal followers. And as we discussed these matters, I found that in every essential principle, the ideals and ideas of Marcus Garvey were identical with those of the organization which I have the honor to represent, the Anglo-Saxon Clubs of America. There was nothing that Marcus Garvey could say frankly and freely to me without danger of misunderstanding. There was nothing that I could say to Mr. Garvey openly and frankly and freely without danger of misunderstanding. And I realized that I was in the presence of a man of the highest idealism and the noblest courage and the profoundest wisdom, a man dedicated to a noble and sacred cause, the cause of the independence and integrity of his race. Like Marcus Garvey's a forerunner. There's not some little BS, right? On my return to Richmond, which is Virginia, at the next meeting of the Anglo-Saxon clubs, I reported the result of my conference with your leader. The newspapers were represented at the meeting, and the Richmond Times Dispatch, which is a white publication, published an account of my talk. In the next issue of the Norfolk Journal and Guide, a Negro newspaper, there were large headlines spread across the top of the page. Garvey in prison forms new alliance. Now remember, keep in mind of the propaganda that was going on because of what Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey were about to do by unifying their two organizations together, right? Once these two organizations would have unified, then there wouldn't be any disagreement about anything with people today. Everything would be plain and clear, right? And then, right, so the readers of the Norfolk Journal and Guide were reminded that Garvey had formerly been a member of the Ku Klux Klan, and that his association with the Ku Klux Klan having been cut short by his imprisonment, even in prison, he had taken occasion to ally himself with other enemies of the race, namely the Anglo-Saxon Clubs of America. That article was copied in the Negro press all over the country, and unfortunately, I am afraid, caused a great deal of ill feeling and ill will. Garvey did not hesitate to assume full responsibility for everything that he had said to me and for every assurance that he had given to me and Major Cox. As a result of that, the wife of your great leader came to Richmond about that time. I introduced a resolution at the meeting of the Anglo-Saxon Clubs of America that our organization write a message of sympathy and of confidence to the Richmond chapter of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, expressing our indignation at the injustice that had been meted out to Marcus Garvey, expressing our approval of his activities for the integrity and independence of his race, and requesting that our sentiments be communicated to his wife, who was to be the guest of honor on that occasion, and requesting that if it were possible, that arrangements may be made by which members of our organization could attend that meeting. The chairman of the Richmond chapter at once replied cordially and courteously, inviting us to attend the meeting. We did not attend the meeting, and we did attend the meeting, and never in all my life have I heard speeches of greater force, of greater power that I heard that night. And it is as a result of that night that I was asked to appear before you tonight. One more thing. A member of your organization in Detroit got in touch with Major Cox and asked him to send out 50 copies of White America. Major Cox sent the copies out. A few days later, he received a letter saying that before the packages were opened, all the copies were disposed of. Please send 250 more. Major Cox did not have 250 copies to send, but sent what he had. A few days later, he received a letter from Detroit saying that there were several Negroes acting as book agents in Detroit selling White America. Sound familiar? Right? Yeah. Right? Sound familiar? Somebody having some papers or whatever, and then other people getting hold of those papers and then telling people, instead of giving them the papers for free or whatever, like they got it, they're pulling rank of selling the papers to people that they got for free. Right? Within 2 weeks, 17,000 copies of Major Cox's pamphlet were used in Detroit. Think of what that means. It means that the Negro in the United States is awake today. He is aroused. He listens no longer to the flattery and the blandishments of the politician. He is beginning to look facts in the face. It means that at least in Detroit, and I believe over the whole length and breadth of this land, the Negro is beginning to show more clearly the way towards a real solution of this problem than the white man who considered himself so wise. It was a joy to me to realize that there were such men as the members of your organization in St. Louis and Detroit. It was a bitter mortification to me to realize that the members of your organization were doing spontaneously what I have been laboring for 10 years to get the people of my race to do. And I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart for the courage and independence that you are showing in facing those facts and seeing them clearly and distinctly. And I speak to you not merely as a white American, I speak to you as a Virginian, and I speak to you as a descendant of slave owners. Right? So all these people are speaking on you know, negative, defensive position with regard to KKK. But the man who they claim that they honor met with them, and then they actually awarded his wife and stuff like that. They came to UNIA stuff to go speak. You know what I mean? He went by them to go deal with them, right? And he made the statement that we are going to stand with KKK before we stand with Boule Negroes. Because with the Boule Negroes, you don't know what you're going to get from them. They shake your hand today, stab you in the back tomorrow. The KKK, they're coming to shake your hand with the knife in their hand.
I stood up to white folks down in Georgia. I know you wouldn't believe it, but you're looking at the first and the last black man that ever went to a Ku Klux Klan meeting in Georgia and came out alive. Not only that, Malcolm was at my house when the Klan first came. They came to my house in a 10-car motorcade. And when they pulled down my block, all the blacks on the block got up and ran in the house, ran through the house. I mean, they was getting out of Dodge. So Malcolm and I, we were standing peeping out the window because they had told us they were coming. They wanted to talk to us. So they stopped in front of my door, the lead car did, and all the other cars stopped. Then they looked the house over. A cop pulled up and talked to him. He pulled away, and then they pulled away. But they went around the block and they came back again. So when they came back, a little short Klansman got out of the lead car. I mean, he was really short. He was a little over 4 feet. He came up to the door, rang the bell. I opened it. He looked at me. "You Jeremiah?" I said, "Yes, sir." He saw Malcolm standing behind me. He said, "You Malcolm?" "Malcolm, yes, sir." "I'm Malcolm." He stood there and said, "Well, you want to come in?" He said, "No, I'm not coming in yet. I'm going to tell you niggas something. If I'm not out of here in 15 minutes, we're going to burn this house down." So Malcolm said, "You don't have to burn the house down. Just come on in." So he came in. He wouldn't take off his coat or his hat. But he did sit down. So he started talking. Malcolm was sort of, just asking him general questions, who are you, what's your name, this, that, and the other. Then he said that he had to go. In fact, Malcolm kept looking at his watch. And so, in other words, after about 10 minutes had passed, he reminded him, you had better go out and let your brothers know that everything is all right in here. So, he went back out. He came back in. He brought a preacher, a couple of politicians from down South Georgia where Jimmy Carter lived. Some down there near Plain. No, these crackers from Willacoochee, Georgia. Mean crackers. So they came in and we sat around the dining room table, and Malcolm began to talk. They started talking, and they said that you Muslims don't believe in integration, and we don't believe in it either. So we ought to get together. So this is a fact. They said we ought to get together. So we need to fight this thing. So that old Martin Luther Coon, he just stirring up things down here. He says that if we get together, we can fight this thing. So Malcolm said, well, what would we be called? He says, he thought about it. He said, we'll call you the Purple Robe. Malcolm said, the Purple Robe? So no, said, we want white robes. So they said, we want white robes. Said, no, say, no nigga, you can't let a nigga wear a white robe. So we give you a purple robe. So Malcolm said, no, we don't want no purple robes. So then he kept talking. Then he got around to what he really wanted. And I know this is going to come as a shock to you, but this is true. They say, that old Martin Luther King, we can't catch that nigga. So we know he lived around here somewhere, but we don't know where. So now if y'all would just point the nigga out to us, say we'll take care of him. So Malcolm said, oh no, so we don't believe in killing our own people. They said, you don't have to kill the nigga, so we'll take care of the violence. And they were serious. They said, we'll take care of the violence. Malcolm said, no. So we're not going to kill our people. Say, our people have been killed enough. I'll give him credit. I was sitting right there. And that was one deal that we wasn't going to go for. But if he had gone for it, Martin Luther King wouldn't have lived as long as he lived. But we don't believe in destroying our own kind for the benefit of the white man. In fact, we don't believe in destroying our own kind, period. The only time we would even think about something like that is if you did it first. And when you, as Captain Yusuf told you, you do that to us, then you got a problem. We don't have one, but you got a big one. But the KKK, they kept on talking, telling us how they had beaten up a lot of black people. And then they started talking about Jews and how they had lynched a Jew. There was a Jew that was down in Georgia that had raped a little Gentile white woman, and they had all lynched this Jew, and they thought that was a big thing. They probably lynched a lot of blacks, but they didn't want to say that while they were sitting there with us. But they were talking about how they had lynched Jews and beaten up a whole lot of blacks because the blacks were integrators and they deserved to be beaten. But anyhow, he pulled out his card and he had a card with a buzzard's claw on it. He said, boy, it's the first time I ever showed a nigga this card. He said, this is our secret arm. See, y'all got a secret group called the FOI, right? So this is our thing, the claw, the KLAW. So then he gave me one of his cards. I asked him for one, he gave it to me. I kept it because whenever I get stopped by them crackers down in Georgia, when I took out my license, I take out that claw card. I give him both of them at the same time. He'd look at me and say, nigga, don't go so fast the next time. You hear me? I said, okay, boss. He said, boy, it's the first time I ever showed a nigga this card. He said, this is our secret arm. See, y'all got a secret group called the FOI, right? So this is our thing, the claw, the KLAW. So then he gave me one of his cards. I asked him for one, he gave it to me. I kept it because whenever I get stopped by them crackers down in Georgia, when I took out my license, I take out that claw card. I give him both of them at the same time. He'd look at me and say, nigga, don't go so fast the next time. You hear me? I said, okay, boss. He said, boy, it's the first time I ever showed a nigga this card. He said, this is our secret arm. See, y'all got a secret group called the FOI, right? So this is our thing, the claw, the KLAW. So then he gave me one of his cards. I asked him for one, he gave it to me. I kept it because whenever I get stopped by them crackers down in Georgia, when I took out my license, I take out that claw card. I give him both of them at the same time. He'd look at me and say, nigga, don't go so fast the next time. You hear me? I said, okay, boss.
So you know where they're coming from the jump. Right? Any questions, comments? No Juali now with regard to KKK. The Holy Prophet told the Moors, in 2 weeks I'm going down south. When I get down there, the Ku Klux Klan is going to stop me. At first, it is going to look like they are against me. Then they are going to lead me to where I am going. This is the Klan. Why is the KKK meeting with Marcus Garvey, who was quote-unquote Pan-African, black back to Africa, the white man did this, right? They weren't lynching him or whatever. They weren't treating him like nigger. They were letting him in their office to come sit down and talk. What was he on? What were they on? That they didn't just take him in the back. He's the leader of millions of Negroes. They have him in the office. They didn't just put a rope around him and drag him out the back. They didn't just Emmett Till him. How come? Why not? Like, what was stopping them from dealing with him on that level? Why are they going out of their way to let Negroes know, oh, you know, your leader is really onto something, you know what I mean? He's trying to get you guys to be independent and all that. Don't forget, we're the cone hat guys with the mask on, you know, the holes and stuff like that. You know, the long stuff, burning crosses on people's arms, bombing churches and stuff like that. But they're telling the people that your leader, Marcus Garvey, he was onto something. Because he wanted you to be independent. He knew what the expectations were of the race. Right? And he employed the race to act on those expectations. Don't take this like some, you know, means nothing interaction, right? We're talking about the people who drag people behind trucks because of the color of their skin. And they met with two of these people and did nothing to them. One of them, they wrote all these letters or whatever, giving him honors. The other one, they led him to wherever he was going. When he went to the area where they were, you know what I mean, they were high in the population. Right? They took the position of take Noble Drew Ali wherever he wanted to go. Or quote unquote escort him. Only dignitaries get escort. Black guys don't get escorted. Especially by KKK. Forget call the police to escort. KKK is escorted. That should say something. But, you know, so much has been put out for our people with regard to these individuals that they claim are racist, don't like them or whatever like that, that they really shouldn't be in the dark with regard to what's going on. It should be very clear, especially with the information that Moor's been putting out. Like we said, they claim that they're black or whatever like that. We know that they got J. Rogers' book, Nature Knows No Color Line. We know that they got it. And they don't recognize what's going on, why they're pushing Charlotte so hard. And then keep in mind, with all this energy going on, moons and eclipses and all this stuff going on right now, why are they doing this right now? They could have did this 4 months ago. Why is it right now that this stuff is kicking off? Right? Yeah. Right? So we want to also go a little bit further. It's not long, but it's going to get to the point of why Moors study, why it's important for Moors to study, and why once we take our position of recognizing what it is that we have as Moors, then stuff is going to change for us. But we have to recognize as Moors what we have. It's too often that Moors want somebody else validate what we got. Right? Even though our own people validated already, hundreds of years, our people been validating certain things for us to be like, oh yeah, that's a, right? Never hear nothing for 100 years. Now European comes said something, oh yeah, now they're on it now 100 years later. When they've been told. So we want to just play this one. Again, it's not long, but it stresses the point.
Read that saying to me about Marcus Garvey. When he went to meet KKK,
yeah,
that was in other words, that was a good thing.
Yeah.
But some of his followers look at him as a bad thing.
As a sellout.
Yeah.
Right. That was the mentality.
Yeah.
Of the members.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you going with the KKK? They whatever. Mm-hmm. Clearly, Garvey's mindset wasn't I'm black, they're white. Yeah. If he's going to meet with them. Mm-hmm. If he's going to have interaction with them, clearly the frequency that they were on in order to have this meeting was not based on that guy's a racist and I'm a slave and then we're going to meet with them, try to iron this thing out because, you know, we're going to try to... No, they seen each other eye to eye. But it was based on the principles. Right?
We're talking about nation. Not talking about this.
It ain't about that. It's about nation. He might have called the thing Negro, but he's talking nationhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not just nationhood in America, universal Negro nationhood. All over the world. Oh, that's the same thing Noble Drew Ali said. The uniting of Asia is the same thing as Universal Negro Improvement Association. Getting all the Negroes all over to be on the same mindset. Right? This ain't long, but it's a good one.
Parade of the Negro Brotherhood in Seville, Spain in 1926, Arthur Schomburg, curator of the Carnegie Library, West 135th Street, New York City, says it was only...
I already know how they do when we hit the nail on the head. I know how they do when we hit the nail on the head. How they always do when we hit the nail on the head. Since they're gonna play stupid, we'll play stupid too, and we'll just read it off of the stuff. So this is on the 100th fact of the Negro. Is it up there even? No. This is one of the 100 facts of the Negro. Let's see if they're playing still.
Human to wish to examine the garment of the Brotherhood of the Negroes after observing. In 1926, Arthur Schomburg, curator of the Carnegie Library, West 135th Street, New York City, says, "It was only human to wish to examine the garment of the Brotherhood of the Negroes after observing the similarity to the white robes and cowls used by the Ku Klux Klan of our country. To all appearances, the American organization copied the dress of those believers in Christ." All right, and here's a picture of those people in the Brotherhood. I just want to point out to you that there's no originality in anything some people do, and even when it's used to scare you, it's still your stuff. So why not just be yourself so you can fix the world?
Right? So that was Brother Wasim Baba L. His little Facebook post upload stuff for today. Because again, there's this blockage, like me and Omar were talking about it coming up here, that there's a blockage with our people when it comes to Moors. Right? Like, we're going to show them, okay, well, the KKK copied Moors to get their outfit. Right? You go back and check the history. The same stuff KKK wears, Moors had that in Spain. Purple, red, orange, blue, whatever. Right? It was just something part of the culture. Now these people take them, terrorize them in their own garb, and then now the people are running from them, not realizing that they're running from their own stuff.
Yeah, but isn't that, because I think I remember there was a time when they were rolling and like the black guy couldn't go.
Right.
But when they wear that, they could go.
Right.
Nobody will know that they're not black.
Right, but this is why they revealed in the letter. Garvey was a member of KKK.
Yeah.
How's he a member? What do you mean he's a member? Well, KKK is not some white, whatever, European, whatever. It might be Christian, but it's not European. Right? That's the same thing that what Dave Chappelle came out and did with his skin. With the brother in the Klan. Then he took off the stuff and said, "Oh my God, he's a brother," or whatever like that. Right? White power. Clayton. Whatever his name was. Right? How's a black guy a member of the Klan? And why would the Klan even allow that? Why would they even, like how is it that people who claim that they rep Garvey, right? People claim that they rep Garvey, they love Marcus Garvey, but they hate the Klan. But Garvey met with the Klan, but they hate the Klan. But the guy who they love met with them. I think some people aren't sending these people signals to let them know what's up. But they don't want to know what's up. They want to stay dark. They want to stay marching up and down the goddamn place for everything. Right? Getting run over and then want to complain about people ran them over. What are you complaining about? You're out there. You know, they told you it's a rally. They told you it's a rally. Rally has no effect of law whatsoever. It's not going to have any type of impact. Just some people meeting around just to march around and do whatever they do. Right? Lesson book number 1. Lesson book number 1. What about the Ku Klux Klan? Operations and principles. The Ku Klux Klan is one of the 2 largest of the secret organizations of Christendom that flourished in the southern territories of North America during the period of Reconstruction, quote unquote. The Ku Klux Klan was founded in Pulaski, Tennessee, and is noted for its sincere and unmoved dedication and honor to the Christian creed and to the Constitution of the Union States. Tennessee entered the Union States Society in the moon or month of June 1st, 1796, and takes the honors of the first home of the Klanners. The KKK order grew very rapidly in 1867 to 1868. The general organization of the Klan was perfected in May 1867, at which time a constitution was adopted. The second and modern society of the Ku Klux Klan was founded in 1915 in Atlanta, Georgia. The major aim of the Ku Klux Klan order is the arbitrary regulation of life by white Christian Protestants. Ku Klux Klan is also spelled with a hyphen, KU-KLUX, Klan. A few other Christian secret orders that merit study and review are the Knights of Columbus, what people call Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. Knights of Columbus is really what that is.
What, KFC?
KFC.
Yeah.
KFC, Knights of Columbus.
Oh.
That's the, yeah. That's what KFC is.
So even, what did they call him? The Colonel Saunders guy that created the
Right.
recipe. He has affiliations.
He's a Klanner.
Yeah.
Just look at his outfit.
That guy with the weight and the
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
He's always in all white.
Always in all white.
And, yeah, for real.
all his hair is white.
Oh,
Has
yeah.
a little bow tie or whatever.
And,
You know what I mean?
and instead of wearing the thing, his beard
is
this. Well, opposite, yeah. That's crazy.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Klanner is the designation used to identify a member of either one of the secret societies. Ku Klux Klan is derived from the Greek word kaiklos, which means a circle. Ku Klux Klan is derived from the Greek word cyclos, or kaiklos, which means circle. The founders of the Ku Klux Klan were clearly using high-cultured cosmological science in its structural constitution. This secret order was not founded by ignorant men. This secret order was not founded by ignorant men.
KKK.
KKK. This secret order is not hillbilly guys with the overalls, you know what I mean, the tooth missing and stuff like that, talking about, you know what I mean, yeah, that nigga over there and all that stuff like that. That ain't the Klan. Those guys are, that's like what we would say, dirty Moors to the Klan. They ain't nobody. They're people just causing, you know what I mean, unneeded confusion. Because they can just get down with the real program of the cosmological science of being a Klan. Because, you know, if Ku Klux Klan means circle, if Ku Klux Klan means circle, then you're obviously dealing with cosmological science. Because everybody knows that, you know, the circle is relative to out there.
What do you mean?
Like when organizations or associations or whatever use a circle, they're talking about something cosmological.
Okay.
They're not talking about, they're just calling it circle because, it's something metaphysics. If a circle, it's either a serpent biting its tail, or it's the sun, or it's, you know what I mean? Church, it's some type of religious whatever, right? Okay. Well, remind me to give you something for Osiris. Yeah. The secret order was not founded by ignorant men, therefore should not be viewed or dismissed as merely an outlaw organization of unreasonable people gone wild with hate and unconstitutional violence. This would be a very inaccurate assessment. Klanners have traditionally honored their Union States Constitution with more orthodox respect than those who have criticized the Klan. Most critics have never read the U.S. Constitution. Right? So how are you going to talk BS about these people are this and that and they're racist and they're whatever when you ain't even read the Supreme Law of the Land? Talking to so-called Negro, Black, Colored, African, whoever's out there that, you know, claim they know something about somebody hating them or whatever. They don't know anything. Right? A Union of States Confederate General, Nathan Bedford Forrest, was the first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. The KKK order was effective in frightening the Negro out of his unnatural alliance with the Union leaders, but was also used as a cloak for lawlessness, land theft, and other forms of violence. The Ku Klux Klan often did the clandestine work which the Union States government officials would not openly declare or do in the public area or public arena. In effect, the Ku Klux Klan was and is used as a willing scapegoat and partner of the Union States society for executing in secret or open some of the extremely violent or negative activities or ordinances derived from and or supported by the state's Christian Black Codes, Negro Acts, and other laws and ordinances of governing free blacks. So the whole point of these Klanners and whoever, they weren't to deal with the Negro slaves. They were to deal with all these blacks that were getting free. Because they had to regulate. The fact that they can't have all these free blacks walking around talking about they're starting Black Wall Streets everywhere. Remember that the people who were in the Ku Klux Klan were also part of the Union States. So it's not like you know, the mayor hired the Ku Klux Klan to go do whatever.
They're all together.
Mayor just put on the stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go, Bert. Let's go live. We're gonna hang some niggas tonight, right? And then tomorrow, they're judge.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, they're lawyer, attorney. You know what I mean? Shop owner, whatever. Man with the milk store. The guy with the farm over there. Done. Cross burning time. All the priesthood is dead at that time. Everybody becomes part of their association, which was created for them to, one, be able to enforce the Constitution, which is going to give them the right to bear arms and kill niggers and stuff like that. Alright? That's why they enforce the Constitution. So they can have the right to do what they do. And they have the right to do what they do against people who aren't part of the Constitution but think they are.
AKA black people. Makes sense.
And then they don't get that you're getting your ass kicked because you're claiming you have rights, civil rights, that came from the Constitution, which you're not even part of. On top of that, you're claiming something that's been unconstitutional since the 1800s. Civiliter mortis. Right? The Black Codes and Negro Acts could and would be animated and enforced whether in the public or the private sector of the Union. And just to address that, regardless of whether, this is for the Moors who want to play private. They're not public, they're private, you'll file some papers, you'll be private. Whether you're dealing with private or public sector, is Union State society. There's no private. The only private is you in your indigenous capacity. There's no private you know, unplug from the matrix, off the grid. You're off the grid, you're off your estate. Because the idea is that you're unplugging from the system, then we go off the grid. Okay, well, system is a fraud, it's an illusion. So what are you really unplugging from when you go off the grid? Even though you're going to be in your own land, whatever like that, you know what I mean? But the fact that they forgot that they're part and parcel and said, I'm going to unplug from the Great Seal and I'm going to go over here and be off the grid without having the Great Seal as their backing. They play themselves twice. So they gave up their Great Seal, right, which is what makes them part, and they gave up their land because they assumed that the state of whatever, the province of whatever was land. So we're going to disconnect from that. But that's paper. Not disconnecting from paper. You're disconnecting from the mindset that was put on you to have you thinking that, oh, the paper's land and people are continents and adjectives, and you're correcting, you're unplugging from that. Right? The KKK originated within the Union States government circles, having the mission of preserving and protecting Christendom at large. Right? So they have the mission of preserving and protecting Christendom at large, but their holy book is called Quran.
Quran?
Quran. K-L-O-R-A-N. And then that's online. You get the PDF, read that, and then you can know what are they really on. And when you read that, you realize that they're not on some hillbilly kill nigger or whatever. These people are high scientists and stuff like that, high level in Knights of Columbus, Knights of the White Camellia, Society of the White Rose, the White League. They're high level. They're not nobodies. The people who insist that they are Negro and black have yet to act or recognize the fact they need and the necessity to form their own government, honoring their own mothers and fathers, and to cease and desist trying to force themselves into a sealed, contracted, constitutional union of which they can never be part. This is one of the true root causes of the hostilities directed toward blacks from the secret orders of the Ku Klux Klan. This is one of the true root causes of hostilities, is because these people are doing exactly against what Noble Drew said. They are forcing their uncivilized position on a civilized world. And the civilized world said, well, we can't do anything to your face, but trust me, we're going to dress up in some Ku Klux uniforms, and we're going to torment you people if you keep playing like you're part of this Union States. And we'll torment you forever. Keep playing like you're part of the Union States. We will torment you forever. And up till today, people still trying to play like they're part of something. They're part of a sealed, contracted, constitutional union, but it has nothing to do with them. For the sake of truth, it must be said again that the position and the purpose of the KKK orders is firm, dedicated, and for the empire. The Klan's focus is for the preservation of the Albionic minority and not as personal as it may sometimes appear to blacks. The KKK is the in-house, workhorse arm of the Union of States governments and is serving well as the grand protectors of the Christian creed and the Holy Roman Empire, established in the Western Hemisphere on Moorish soils. Review the signatories of the Union States Constitution. Charter and objects of the order. First, to protect the weak, the innocent, and the defenseless from the indignities, wrongs, and outrages of the lawless and violent, and the brutal, to relieve the injured and oppressed, to succor the suffering and unfortunate, and especially the widows and orphans of the Confederate soldiers, to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and all laws passed in conformity thereto, and to protect the states and the people thereof from any invasion from any source whatsoever. Third, to aid and assist in the execution of all constitutional laws, and to protect the people from unlawful seizure and from trial except by their peers in conformity to the laws of the land. So we go through the character and objectives of the order, and everything it is that they're claiming in their constitutional objective is about their protection of their family, protection of their children, defend against the Constitution, and protect against any invasion whatsoever. If quote-unquote United States is a country and unconscious Moors have their own estate, but they don't want that. They want to go into the U.S. jurisdiction. They want to be part of that because we built this and we were slaves and we built this. You guys need to give us something. Right? They're going to be fought tooth and nail because these people know that they don't have that position really to talk like that. You can't be part of this. You're indigenous to the land. The fact that you want to be part of our KKK stuff, which is, you know, goes back to U.S. and, you know, citizenship and, you know, they want to be U.S. nationals and all this type of stuff. You can't run with the people who are claiming you don't have anything to do with them. Like, they're making the claim. You guys don't have nothing to do with this. So we're gonna draw the line in the sand, cross the line, we're lynching you. Black guys, you guys can't do nothing. We built this and all that stuff. You guys are racist, you know what I mean? They're gonna put their nose over the line, get their head chopped off by these people. Right? And again, it goes back to what Drew Ali said again too, that Moors are hard-headed, stiff-necked people. Only learn at the point of a sword. They only learn from pain.
We used to say that they never know until their back against the wall.
Never know until their back's against the wall. Then when their back's against the wall, now they want to do something. Now they want to call and get a nationality card right away over the phone. Right? You know what I mean? Now they want that. Before they didn't want nothing. They even care about birthrights. Oh, these guys marching and stuff right now? Looks like race war is going to kick off whatever. Oh, I need to be a Moor. How can I get a card and all that stuff? Well, what have you been doing for the past year? Where have you been? You've been studying something, putting something on the record that you're not stateless, so that they can't do that to you. Oh, well, you don't even know what stateless means. How you gonna cure yourself from statelessness? You don't know what statelessness is. Right? You got a comment on it?
Well, I just wanted to sort of present the sublime side of it, which is that on the surface, the KKK says that they are standing for these certain principles, but they're really engaging in those same principles that they say that they're trying to protect from, insurgents and all those kind of things. Yeah. They're really the guard that is stopping, let's say, the slaves from coming back into their own, right? Into their own, as well as if they are part of the machine that is supposedly protecting Christendom and the Roman sort of the Roman sort of control, then that goes hand in hand with the so-called education system, which is continuing to propagate that we are slaves and Africans, right? So if we're being told in school that we're Africans and we're slaves, right? And then we're going out there to say that, and then you have a group of people that are killing us for being that, and there's definitely a hypocrisy going on there, right?
No, I mean, yeah, no. Because they should know they're not slaves.
Yeah, but who was mandated to then inform us of that?
Our own.
Our own, but also
Which-
them as well,
Right?
right? They as well were supposed to sort of, I mean, it's
Yeah,
really,
but
the
remember
responsibility was on
yeah,
us.
so if we lacked in our responsibility,
Right.
they're not gonna do it. I mean,
Well,
why would they rep it if we're not even repping it?
well,
You know what I mean?
I would agree with that, but I mean, I think you speak to the truth behind it, that when you tell 1,000 people, 900 of them don't want any part of it,
Right.
but ultimately, you know, it would be, let's say, the preachers and the sort of higher ups that should be dragged out and killed, right?
Right.
That's really who the KKK should be going after. If they were really about wanting to bring us back into that, right? Because I think what we're understanding is that there was obviously a profit or an advantage to keeping us in that state, because you also made claim that they were also about doing the dirty work, right, behind the scenes. So they're
Right.
really, so, I mean, it's not like they're standing on some pure ground, right? Those
Right,
are the
right,
ones who are
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
go in
they're
there
definitely
first
standing on.
and burn down the churches and all those kind of things, right?
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think it's important, and that's where I think what happens is they get you focused on the fact that they're really about killing the nigger,
Yeah.
when really they're about standing up for what's right, but really underneath it all, they really are about going out and killing some people that might be about doing some good.
No,
Right?
but that,
From that perspective,
Right,
the fact that, you know, there might have been like a, you know, for lack of a Martin Luther King who's out there teaching people to be Moors.
Right.
Well, we got off that guy, because once these people wake up, our stuff's done.
Right.
Right, so that's where I sense that, you know, seeing the KKK as if there's some benign group that was just looking to stand up for what was right,
Yeah.
sort of on one level was right, but I think it speaks to the greater macrocosm of things where everything is sort of
Yeah,
mixed.
as above, yeah.
Everything's
truth
sort
and
of
falsehood,
mixed.
yeah, the
We're
truth
really
and
about
falsehood.
standing up for all these people, but we're really killing some people in the end. Well, we're killing some black guys, but we're also making sure that certain other people, or we're actually also killing some people who are probably doing some good stuff.
Right, but again, when you look at the hypocrisy again, if Garvey met with them,
Well, 1,000%.
and these people, you don't want to recognize what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, your leader guy had conversations with these people.
Yeah.
So it's just like with the challenge token with the sheriff,
Yeah.
right? As soon as you engage them highway robbers, oh yo, I'm done with the guy who met with you guys. You don't need to bother me. You gave Garvey a pass, you didn't lynch him. Well, I'm a Garveyite.
Yeah.
Should be the mentality.
Yeah.
Not I'm black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not I'm Negro. Oh, so you rep Garvey, you talk nationhood, but you're Negro?
Yeah.
I mean, we read his book and it said, you're going to be happy when you get your nationality. What's your nationality, black guy? Well, you know, African or whatever. Oh, well, I guess you deserve rope. Right? So yeah, it's a catch-22.
Well,
But
it's really running game on minority, and
Yeah,
to get out of that, you gotta be
Not a minority.
Not a minority. So you're right, but
You know
I
what I
just
mean?
thought
Like,
it was-
yeah, no
I
doubt.
just-
They're
I just thought it was
playing.
important.
Yeah, they're playing both sides.
Both
For sure,
sides.
they're playing both sides.
And really,
But
the
I mean,
problem
I
is-
think they're playing both sides because of our lack of picking a side. You
and
know what I
also
mean? Like,
and also our continued want to stay ignorant
right.
and in that state,
Yeah.
which allows
Knowing what that state creates.
right, which then allows them the latitude to be able to play both sides.
To play both sides and do what it is that they do. Right? So a few questions. We'll do with some of those. Sister Sakira. Islam. It is said that the Holy Prophet told the Moors not to throw away your slave names because we have a birthright under them. for the work that our ancestors did in slavery time. We will be paid off for this with compound interest. With that being on the record, how can many Moors throw away their family name, family last name, and substitute them with different name? Should we keep our family name?
Throw away the family name and put it, substitute with what?
With the different name. Should we keep our last names and add in new names with our titles, LB, etc., to make our appellation honorable with our ancestors and Prophet Mobutu Ali? This is a topic that I see Moors going back and forth about. Is there a right or wrong way? So, like we were reading in J. Rogers' book, European family names majority of European family names have a Moor head on it, right? So don't throw away your family name because you have a birthright under them, right? Don't throw away the family name because you have a birthright under them. Is more so to connect you to the illustrious history. For example, we use Brother Supreme, right? His family name, the name that he's born with. But the name that he was born with has a variation of more in the name, right? So, opposed to saying, create a new name, he just used this name, right? By using this name, the interest that he's getting is not some financial whatever. People you're going to get paid off in compounded interest. But that's not fiat. You're not going to put nothing in your account because you have a name of somebody from the past. Because we all know that the real money is knowledge. The real light is knowledge. The real water is knowledge. So as soon as they're making references to these things, we have to go automatically in our mind metaphysical and know that, they're talking about knowledge. Don't throw away the slave name, right? Again. Right? Slave name. MC connected to Moor. Variation of Moor is in the name. Right? Any name with MC, MAC, whatever. Right? All of them, same idea. If I threw this out, like mentally, if I threw this out, right? John Moor and Moor and McCletchy Street wouldn't have had as an impact as it would have had if I would have said, right now keep in mind, throw this name away doesn't mean like use it or not use it. It's do you acknowledge where this goes to? Right? Do you acknowledge where it goes to? You might check and it goes back to some some European whatever. That has nothing to do with you at all. Right? Not every name is going to go back to Moors. But we know that
Yeah, I did.
that the name itself has a tie to the Moors. So don't throw away the slave name because the interest, right? The interest is your attention. The compounded interest is your study, study, study. The compounded interest that you're going to get is when you study, 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 you're going to get the knowledge. Again, that's why we use J. Rogers' book. Because he goes through all the different names, goes through all the family crests and all that stuff to show you that you're tied to these European names. These guys aren't the founders of it. You know what I mean? So don't get caught up.
Even if we civilize them or whatever.
Right.
We probably the one who give them.
Who give them that name.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, but keep in mind that as Moors, we're supposed to be free, independent, fearless. If we're free, there's no way that we're going to have this guy's name if we're free. Right? So nobody can say they're free, but my name is Scott L. Now you're Jeffrey L. I'm free. You're not free. You're partially free, but you're not free. Not completely free. Right? So you can take the name and put L or Bay on it, Johnson, L, Bay, and whatever like that. You could do that. There ain't nothing wrong with it or whatever. But you're going to eventually, in your studies, get to that place where you say, hold on a second. If this is a slave name, and then I'm free, then why would I call myself the slave name? Like, why wouldn't I have a free name? And then we know that the free names are L, Bay, Bay, Al, Ali, or whatever like that, so you can, you know what I mean? Right? Because again, remember that these, back then, these names weren't tied to social insurance numbers, licenses, contract with bank, freaking children's services taking your children because of this name, you know, IRS going in your account because of this name. You're probably going to want to not have this name. You know what I mean? Because you know that eventually these people are going to come make their claim because really, they took your stuff. And we don't have the power to claim it back like that. But we have the power to be who we are. We have the power to be ourselves. Right? You got a question next?
I forgot it. I think it had something to do with the last name. But you kind of touched on it.
Alright.
But the interest in it and stuff.
Right, so, because I know that once your compounded interest and they automatically go to, they built everything and then they took out this and they took out that, and the compounded interest means that they're going to give us a check. Well, you're not getting no check. The European ain't giving you no damn check. You know, stuff they did to you in slavery.
Have you heard anything about like promissory notes?
Yeah.
Does that have any like use? Being a Moor, like
if you're, it goes back to jurisdiction.
Okay.
Those who are, only those in the promissory note jurisdiction can use promissory notes. A fiat guy is not taking a promissory note. You know what I mean? Because they're not even there to know that that's money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or that's credit.
Right.
Right? But, they'll kidnap you, but make you be released on your own recognizance, which is a promissory note, or something other than paper being exchanged. They agree, sign here. Let you up the stuff right now. And then Moors are, well, I can't, I don't want to sign and all that stuff because that's not me. And well, I thought you said don't throw away the slave name, compounded interest in that. So they're saying, well, sign the slave name and we'll let you go right now. Well, I don't know, because it's not in my free national name. I'll stay in here and wait till court. Tripping.
Right,
Tripping.
reserved, then I'm out.
All rights reserved, sign the stuff, I'm out
Exactly.
with that name there. Y'all holding me because, you know what I mean? Oh, well, I'm not really a Moor because I signed in the slave name, so, you know, ancestors don't like me or whatever like that. Forget that. That's a window for you to get out of whatever you're in. Yeah.
Doesn't it also, I had another perspective, that the compound interest also could have to do with the fact that, for example, if you came from the Smith clan, or the Smith plantation, then let's say that they were accruing finance. Ultimately, if they're using you and that name as the fact that they lay claim to that, but it also works the other way. You also have a claim to that too, from the perspective of, let's say, when the finances start coming back again, like they can't have it both ways, right? They can't say, okay, well, anything that you do is ours because you're really Smith.
Yeah.
So that really belongs to the Smith clan,
Right.
Right? But then ultimately, you're calling me a Smith.
Right.
So then, if there's $1 million to be split up amongst the Smiths, I'm a Smith. I'm just saying that was a thought that I had from that compound interest side. That ultimately, let's say when it's all done and they're all splitting up the pie,
Yeah.
you know, 2 million for you, 2 million for you. The Smith clan, the 15 million Smiths.
Yeah. Have their cut. Yeah.
I would think that.
But again, like, you know,
That was a perspective that I had. That's what I thought that might have meant.
Right.
That ultimately, when they start.
No, but that's why I brought the thing with the knowledge.
Right.
Because that's where people are gonna go. When he said that, they're gonna go with get something.
Right.
No, about getting nothing. It's all about get knowledge. If you're gonna get anything,
Right.
it's about get knowledge.
Right.
You know what I mean? People who are in the know, yeah, okay, you might get a check
Right.
because you're in the know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just meant that from the lower and higher self, right?
Yeah,
the lower
yeah,
self being
most
okay.
definitely.
If this 10 million belongs to the Smith clan,
Then Smith should get.
Smith should get his little
exactly.
100 G's.
Right. Right. Especially if it's.
But that would only come from the perspective at the end of the game,
Right.
when things start to fall apart,
Yeah.
right? So.
Yeah.
Because again, too, remember, Prophet said if you find out while doing business in this name, you could still continue doing it. If you open a new one, then you start up.
Right. Right. So that's a good point too. That, yeah, don't throw away the slave name because you're gonna get paid off in compounded interest, blah blah blah. But he also said, all old business, leave it as it is. All new business, do it in your free name. Right? So the door is open for you to have a free name. It's just what level are you perceiving free name as? Are you perceiving free name as L and B? Or are you perceiving free name as everything with L B attached to it, but that name not being tied to European cognomens? Right? Brother Navi Bay. I'm sending this in trust that the vibration from the words can be comprehended. I came aware of my nationality about 5 years ago. From the start, I was just amazed that all my life, the inner me was right and exact. The one supreme mind was right and exact. I was attempting to assist someone with a seatbelt violation when I became well aware of how real status and being in one's own proper person is. I would just like to say from that moment on, I was and have been treated with the most utmost respect from the individuals claiming to be government. I frequent the quote-unquote city meetings and have constant contact with the local sheriff. I say this with the confidence to demonstrate that once one conquers the fear, the false evidence appearing real, and standing on what noble Juali redeemed for us, and be what you know, there is nothing to fear. I have personally obtained a space without involuntary contract from occupying force. proof not for myself, however, but for other active Moors, my children and those that are watching, because they are from the Show Me state and want to see your works. This would not have been possible without the selfless teachings of Canaanland Moors and other active Moors. This is a divine movement. We have already won. I give high honors and an enormous amount of gratitude and thanks to Canaanland Moors, Brother Tashreeq Bey, Brother Abdullah Bey, Brother Setenra Bey, Mother Razmariah Bey, and all active Moors for answering the Prophet's call. Thanks for your attention in advance, Brother Nabi Bey. Right, so the fear eliminates once you recognize where you stand. Now, once you recognize your position. Brother Latif Bey. Islam, peace and love on all the 5 points of light. I am sending you these pictures to bring the attention of all faithful Moors, the activity of dirty Moors selling birthrights and any delusion of freedom. This instrument is sold for 700 notes. Oh, Brother Lex, you should have been here for this. Brother Lex, you should have been here for this. So, the image is a world citizens of the Moorish nation international promissory note. Secured, negotiable, transferable instrument meeting all requirements of UCC Article 3, Article 4, true bill of exchange, and secured checks, I think that's it. And then there's another image of a conversation, and somebody asked the individual who posted this, that's what I'm talking about, where do I place an order? And then the individual, Mikhail Jabal Muhammad Firdaus L, said, his reply was, donate $750 and I'll show you how to do it. Now, the question that we posted, or the question that I posted is, if you're going to pay them to show you how to make a promissory note, and they want $750, did they pay themselves $750 to make that for themselves? And if they didn't, why are they charging you?
Or better yet, why don't they just give it to you and then you make it the $750 and give it to them?
From that, yeah. How about give them a $750 promissory note? See if they like that. I bet they won't. If you pay them with the BS they're trying to pull on you. So be careful, Moors. Some of your own, wearing turbans or fezzes, L's and Bays, are going to put you right back in slavery. Brother Jeremy Bey, steps to becoming a member of the temple. You can email Brother Amari, who's the secretary. Amari L. Bey at hotmail.com. Amari L. Bey, hotmail.com. Amari L. Bey, hotmail.com. AMAURY L. Bey at hotmail.com, and he'll send you the form for membership. Now just some more with regard to him contacting the credit union. So, and again, spoke with Brother Kennick. We want to say Islam to the Moors who have sent in their their surveys, as well as the Moors who have been, you know, boots to the ground, contacting him and stuff like that with regard to finding out a little bit more about the credit union. He did say that majority of the calls that he's gotten in the past couple weeks was because of the class we did with him. Right? Prior to that, they weren't getting calls like that. Alright, so Islam to the Moors for support. Devon Sterling, Islam, I come in the name of Jesus with the power of the Holy Spirit. I want to ask about the nationality card and if you will help me get one. Well, the best, you want to do the nationality card thing?
Which one?
No, okay, we just got a question relative to the same thing about getting the nationality card. The call.
Right.
What was from your perspective, that you were on the phone, what was the underlying
Sort of tone?
conclusion to the call with regard to specifically that one and nationality cards, like from your perspective?
Well, from you were here for the perspective that I...
Because I wasn't hearing the other...
Yeah, the perspective that I had from it was that there was a Moor who had called while we were here before class, and he was saying, I want to get a nationality card.
Yeah.
He was saying, I want to get a nationality card. And so I had said to him, well, it doesn't work like that. You've got to be able to come in. And he's like, well, why do I have to come in? He's like, and I said to him, and I had said to him, well, you know, we have had issues with people who have had their nationality cards going out and not doing right by the nation. And his rebuttal to that was that, well, that should be okay. People, if they're going to take their nationality cards and go do those things, that's sort of on them, and that really shouldn't be our concern. And he was coming from the perspective that somehow he needed to have the nationality card to give himself, or to give, I guess, other people the perspective of validity in him speaking about the atom in connection with Greece, and how it was one mind, and that one mind created everything, and that he was looking to sort of pass that knowledge on to everyone, and that somehow that card was his right. And I think the response to it, from me as I sort of got into it, was in understanding that, first of all, there's nationality principles that every nation has that then reflect in people being part of those nations. I.e., if you want to become a Canadian citizen, a Japanese citizen, there are certain things that are bred into the culture and the civics of it that you're supposed to have to then reflect being one of these nations. And those things, then if, for example, you're coming here to Canada, you don't just get a Canadian citizenship. You have to go to all these classes, you have to go to all this stuff that then...
But they want us to just give it up.
So that you then would go take a test, and I think a lot of that is the indoctrination process, but still part of the whole thing where you know that Canada is this, Canada reflects this, all these things, so that basically there are certain principles that every nation has, that I guess as part of the administration of nationalizing people or naturalizing people need to be passed on to you, so that, I guess this is coming to me now, so that we can all live at a certain level. You know, i.e., if you're a national, you wouldn't be going and killing someone else, or you wouldn't be going and robbing someone else. These are sort of examples. But he kept having this issue that somehow this belonged to him by the very nature of just him being that person.
Right.
And he was on the phone.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said to him, well, how do I know who you are?
Yeah.
How do I even know what you are or
Yeah.
what's going on? So that gave him reason to pause. And then he was countering with the fact that when I said, well, each nations have these sort of connections with each other, and that each nation then is supposed to have their nationality cards, which then are put them at the table, he then felt that that was almost arguing for him, which was that he then should have one so that he could sit,
So he can sit at the table.
sit at the
Right, right.
table. The guy then countered with the fact that you don't get anything anywhere without having some sort of connective instrument to that.
Yeah.
A birth certificate, your mom has to sign off on. A license, the instructor has to sign off on. A passport, you got to get a doctor and two or three other people to sign off on.
Right.
So everything has a connection to the connection. The nationality card or the cards are backed by a level of competency, whether it has anything to do with you having a certain level or someone else having a certain level to then back that.
Yeah.
There has to be some connection. And then in us further thinking about this, as I said to him, if I picked up the phone to a Chinese consulate and then said, hey, I picked it up and said I want my Chinese nationality, they would say to me, well, who are you? You need to come down here
Right.
and we need to figure this out, you need to fill this out, you need to have a picture, all this kind of stuff. He then didn't want to give his phone number. He was only 5 kilometers away, didn't want to come in, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
So Cujo and I both came to the conclusion that this guy was sort of definitely somewhat about some sort of agent activity,
Or wanting to get something for nothing.
or trying to get something for nothing.
Whatever it was.
But I think ultimately some of the stuff I was standing on was trying to explain to him that we as this fallen nation, unfortunately, have a greater task ahead of us because we have been so damaged. We have to be almost more diligent than other nations because we aren't even being recognized on that level. So it is more incumbent upon us to make sure that we're walking with even more integrity.
Right.
And even in that case, we can even see that even in that case, we're still dealing with a bunch of scumbuckets all through this. So, you know, but it was quite.
A good one. Wait, I did you say that? You were feeling the.
I was feeling the heat behind, because the man and I were sort of getting into it, and I was realizing how Cujo must have to deal with all these guys all the time.
Let them go. Let them go.
Who are dealing with nonsense and trying to argue you down that somehow that card is theirs just by the fact that they want to pick up the phone, and then how dare we question them on anything?
Yeah, hold them back from their
Hold them back from anything. So, and I realized, I got off the phone, it was like I was a little sweaty, I was a little hot, I was angry, and realized, as I said in that moment, that, I don't know, just to put it on there, I don't know how Cujo can do, well, I know what happens. Cujo has to sometimes F-O something, whatever it is, F-U something, or F-Y-O-U-C something, but this is why it is, because I think, and this is what I was saying to the gentleman on the phone, that if you were genuine about this, then you would,
At least give us your number.
then none of this would be an issue to you.
Yeah.
Because when you want your license and they tell you have to come down to do your thing,
yourself,
to do your
go
thing,
down there.
to do your whatever, you
Stand
go
in
down
the
there
long
and
line and all that.
you go down there and do all of that stuff. But all of a sudden you're here, you want your nationality card, and you pretend like somehow we should just be mailing off some card to you.
Yeah.
To
Just
then,
because you said.
just because whatever, to somehow stand. But this is what I realized, that the nationality principles come from the culture of the society creating that standard. And it comes from the collective, acting in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that if you are within that collective and you're not acting in that certain way, then they have processes for that. I.e. jail, i.e. sanctions, all this stuff.
Fines, whatever.
Fines, all this stuff. So all of this is connected. But as I said, it was very, very telling to see how these people somehow because his other line of response to that was, well, I have this knowledge now,
Yeah.
and I need to be able to somehow have some validation. And I made it clear to him that if you're a Moor, you don't need no card or nothing.
To prove that.
You don't need any of that. You just need a certain standard. And
Right.
his answer to that, and this is where I think I can read between the lines now in processing it, that his answer was that he felt he needed that card to be able to, as we say, because as we know, the cards reflect and represent a certain standard of activity. So then if you can go, for example, and this is the example I used with him too, you wouldn't give a set of keys to a child to go drive a vehicle without him having a certain type of training and stuff that would give you that.
Yeah.
So, and that was the other part of it, that stuff comes from being given some knowledge behind that. But then I also countered that by saying there's a lot of people that don't have licenses.
Yeah.
And they drive too.
Yeah, regardless.
Regardless. So that comes from a certain level of knowledge as well.
Yeah.
Man up north who, I was talking to a man, he said he was driving a vehicle when he was 10. He was
Yeah.
driving on the back roads.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? No thing there, and he was not driving, he was navigating his commands.
Yeah.
So ultimately those things are all interconnected, but ultimately I think on a standard where these instruments are used to sort of validate a cultural backing at a certain level, there are then going to be certain requirements,
Right.
standards
Yeah.
that come from that.
Right.
And even when you look at it from the Canadian point of view, so-called Canadian point of view, you have to go and do this stuff.
Yeah.
And then go get your little flag,
Yeah.
put it in your window.
Lapel pin or whatever. Yeah. Right. So it's evident that people are waking up. There was one of these Kemetic groups out here. One of the Moors was in those groups online, one of those Facebook groups. So this was one of the convoys that somebody who quote unquote is, they're black or whatever, but this is what they put in the group, just so you can understand that what we're doing as Moors is having an impact out here, right? So this was their post. Has anyone noticed that all mail that comes to you is in all capital letters? Check your documents like social security cards, birth certificates, driver's licenses, etc. The person in capital letters is called strawman. Actually, all of your bills are sent to this fictitious person, blah blah, they go down the list, right? When you get a loan, mortgage, car loan, etc., the company accesses the treasury direct account, gets paid, then they bill you even though they access your account, and then they start going into, everybody's a billionaire and all that stuff, and historically we should have access to these accounts and whatever, right? The whole black mentality, right? So Moors went on there. Oh yeah, and then they talked about tag 3 or more people, in this, whatever. Now, their claim is that, a Moor put them on to this idea about the straw man or whatever. So, study your Moor. Study your Moors go on there now. This is their position in the black group, right? So we'll see where it goes if they even, go study after this. So, Title 28, United States Code 3005. The United States is a corporation. Also, all crimes are commercial, dealing in commerce. Every person with a birth certificate is a slave to the corporation. Also, this corporation been bankrupt since 1933, HDR 192. They are building more prisons and charging us for everything, when there is no money to pay anything. It's a battle to fight. Claim your nationality, forget all the secured creditor stuff. You can't secure a fraud, don't get caught up in treason. Right. But if you have a nationality, like being Moorish American, you give the straw man a voice. Latin legal term, ex rel or ex relation. The Prophet said, don't throw away your slave name. The Prophet said, do all new business in your free national name by saying, don't throw away your slave name. He did not mean use your straw man. I sent an email before about what Prophet meant about throw your straw man. This seems to keep coming up. Is it safe to say that some things said by our Prophet aren't to be taken literally? Exactly. Being that he was a metaphysician. 1 and 1 equals 2. Right? So if he's Noble Drew Ali or Professor Drew, the Egyptian adept, and an adept is a metaphysician, then everything should be looked at metaphysically. It shouldn't be looked at mundane, or it shouldn't be looked at exoteric. It should only be looked at esoteric at all times. As a Moorish American, why would I want to be the voice for the straw man? In the case of XREL, you would want to be the voice of the straw man, because if the straw man does not have quote-unquote representation or someone to speak on behalf of information, they're going to speak on behalf of it, and most likely they're going to go for conviction, no matter what it is, right? So you want to say X-relation so that the straw man can have a voice, but the voice isn't the straw man's. The voice is your voice for information regarding the straw man, but you're not connecting yourself to it because you're it, or you're tied to it, or you gave it something and you're holding it. It has nothing to do with that. All it is that you got information on it. So you're talking from the perspective of, I'm speaking on behalf of this thing.
And you got the most information.
The most information. And keep in mind with X-relation that if somebody in propria persona is not speaking for the straw man, then the only other person that can talk is the Attorney General. Who all these people that claim some type of interest in the straw man, don't forget they work for or with him. Which is why they're able to talk, which is why they can say ex parte, kick you out, and still go ahead with the case and all that stuff. Because of the whole idea that the straw man's not ours, never was ours, it's their property, it's their personal stuff. Let them have their personal stuff and we'll keep our personal stuff, which is our nationality and birthrights. And if worse come to worse and we have to engage them in some type of way, we're doing it with reservation of all rights under threat of arrest, coercion, and, you know what I mean? We're not claiming to be that thing, we're XRL to that thing. Right? As far as the initial post regarding Social Security, secured credit, discharging debt, etc., is this info that we should be passing around, especially to those who don't have a clue? Is it wise for one to be lured into curiosity for who's accessing what isn't the straw man? Already dead. Would you consider this to be one of those diversions you spoke about in class on Tuesday? Yeah, pretty much. Because anything that takes you away from Noble Drew Ali's literature, your nationality and your birthrights, your divine creed, and anything else relative is more than likely a distraction. Because we have to be defenders and upholders of what we know the truth is. Like, we can't be defenders and upholders of fiction. Right? Because, again, somebody throws this post in some black whatever, oh wow, there's all of a sudden, you know what I mean? This information is kind of interesting to them. But it's not from the right perspective, because they shouldn't be coming at it from the perspective of, especially from a Moor, coming from a perspective of billions of dollars and treasury accounts and cash this and that, because you know our people are broke, you know our people are fiends for finance, they're fiends for finance, they're fiends for, you know what I mean, credit, money, things relative to, you know what I mean, wealth or whatever. So, you know, once you put those stuff out there, mixed with other stuff, all they're going to see is dollar sign. They have dollar sign eyes. That's all they're going to see. And all they're going to gravitate to. So, which is why it's so easy for Moors to say 5,000 and sell a package. Because not only do our people have a magnetism for finance or money or fiat or whatever, they also have the power of relinquishing it for anything. Like they won't even think about giving it up.
I think this is the issue that just came to me now. That since they hold finance in such high regard, and the volume of finance in such high regard, they assume that if something costs more, that there must be more value to it.
And I mean,
to the extent that if you come in here and say, hey, it costs you $3 to buy the paper and the ink, that's all we need, it ain't coming for that.
Right.
But if some cracker down the street says it's $5,000
yeah.
for that same package,
Yeah.
oh, that must be something, because that costs $5,000.
Yeah.
Right? So the value is in what they think the money actually represents.
Right. Last couple of questions and we'll close out. Brother Kosi Trey L. Before I began, please, Mark.
I was wondering if it's possible to make a claim on the atom, the physical element, or not the spiritual element atom, to make a claim on that.
Well, if we're already it, if we're it, then that's the claim.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you're still using, like, it's in everything at the same time,
Right.
And they're still able to, like, use, like, how do you make a halt to that? Then their power to even, because the way I see it right now, it's like they're trying to have people not even believe in, like, a God when that's the God, you know what I mean? And then it's like, you look at history, and it's like, it came in and made like this physical, but it's not really like this. Like it was better back in the day, right? Yeah. But it made the physical. So it's like the end of days to me, it's like it's looking like, okay, if all black people start forgetting that, like, yo, the atom is God, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then it's gonna wipe out everything. Like it's gonna destroy it. You know? Yeah. I don't know what's solar flare or whatever it decides. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like it's possible to make a claim on that, like, because they know it, but it's like no one is saying it. Like that's God. That's and like we have to protect its rights. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's the right. The fact that they're making machines to split the atom and do that, that should be highly illegal. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but remember, it's who we're dealing with, because they're only acting on what they were taught. They're only acting what we put them onto. You know what I mean? Like they're not acting on, that's not their own volition. You know what I mean? Like that mindset that they have was adopted. Everything what they know about the atom. That's not stuff that they had in their records, as far as they got that stuff directly from us. Yeah. Right? So the claim of it is really already made. It's just that we're not standing up to be the atom. You know what I mean? We're not standing up to be the God. Because then, you know, again, just like you said, if we claim to be God, then they're going to want to split us. The majority of our people, they're not ready to go there. Right? Even though they had Clarence 13X and all that, come tell them that they're God. Like, told them, you guys are gods. You're gods on earth. Like, you're not human beings or whatever like that. You're gods of this realm. But if the people aren't even registering that they're it, then they can't even make a claim. So the claim is really made on the ones who know that they're it. But if you know that you're it, then it's got to be what you know. If we're claiming that we're God or whatever, or Adam, and the building block of life, then we gotta be building something. Or our Adamness is gonna be not in its full execution.
I see it like that too, because it's like, it's crazy to me, because like they always be, like right now in the media they're pushing their like Luciferian agenda, like crazy to make people fall in love with the flesh and all that, right? So then it's like, if this is what's really going on. Like how is it still going on? Like this, okay, Noble Drali, he came with his message, and then in 1933 they had to open up the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
So then it's like, in my sense, that's when their whole business of Luciferianism started. Like after Alistair Crowley, everything that man got.
Yeah.
His whole business. But it's like, what was going on before that? It was just them trying to control the earth, but still hiding. Like they were willing to control the earth while people were not in the know, but still worshiping the God and willingly worshiping the Word. They're still willing to be powerhouses of the earth. The Noble Drali came with the truth for us to claim our Adam, and then that's when they started trying to send the earth to hell.
Double heart, yeah, because going back to the same thing that, you know, you have an individual telling these people that they're not property anymore. Even though property also breaks down to the atom, just vibrating slow. Drali wanted us to be the atom vibrating fast. Right? You know, but atoms vibrating, the faster the atom vibrates, the less visible the thing is. Right? So if we're not Negro black colored, which is the slowest vibration that the atom could be on, if we're not that, then the only thing we can be is opposite of that. Like we can't be in between. You know what I mean? Like we can't be kinda God. Either God, either your higher self or your lower self.
And just to cut you, you were communicating about Luciferian. Lucifer was light bearer.
Right.
So these Europeans were emulating the light. You think Lucifer is evil. Lucifer is really good, but he's evil to the people who want to be in the darkness. Right? So the people that they're trying to keep you in a state where you're thinking, okay, well, you know, all of this stuff is negative. It's like they say, anything that they say is negative, you should be studying.
Yeah.
Because that's the
anything that they say that's
anything
negative.
that they say is negative devil worship with Lucifer, you better be studying that.
Well, the Moors are the race traders of, or you better go study the Moors.
The pentagram is bad, you better go study that.
Yeah.
Right? Lucifer is the devil, you better go study that.
And then keep in mind, another alias of Lucifer is Morning Star, which is the sun. But the sun's the devil, then like we're all devil worshippers in here.
But I got one point where it's like Saturn, like people want to be afraid of Satan, Saturn, but it's like he's not the one that's burning anything. You know what I mean? He's not sending people to an infernal pit of hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really the sun that's like on fire, burning. So I don't know, when people want to act like their soul's gonna get sent to hell, it's like going back to everyone's gonna go back to Adam. You know, to the sun. Everyone's gonna go back to what's the dimension, whatnot. But it's like my real issue is like, okay, I have everything, like everything the sun shines on should belong to me. Like, so the fact that if I even want to create money, like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to even start creating money. That's not like, that doesn't make no sense to me. Like, cause I own it. Like, I'm like, you know, I'm the Adam. Like certain things like.
Right, but again too, like it's like that has to be a universal concept.
Upon like all our people.
Like whoever's there in the mind, that's who it's gonna. You know what I mean? Like,
I believe that too. Like Adam's in everything, right?
Yeah.
Like Adam is in every human being. Or you know, Allah, Adam, whatever you want to call it. It's in every human being. And then so it's like the Caucasian man was created, like Caucasoid, he was created, and he doesn't have a soul. He doesn't have those things. So it's like.
But there's Asiatics that don't have souls.
Yeah, and they could make one. But like, that's going through love, like you have to have pure love, like.
And that's one of the things lacking in our people most. And then that's one of the things that Europeans use to get back in. But the love that they show is love for nature, love for animals. They're gonna go lie down in front of some stuff to sell some seals or whatever like that. But they won't care about these niggers out here getting killed.
Oh, and even Trump was talking about that Virginia thing. We need to have more love for each other.
Yeah.
We're only stating that shit when the shit's
hitting the fan. But when you know everything's running good for everybody, they don't care about no love.
And
You know what I mean?
Right.
Right? Which is why, again, like with Drew Ali saying that there's only going to be a handful saved. So, you know, the handful should be the nucleus.
What?
The handful
Should be the what?
should be the nucleus,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Those who are in the know and want or whatever are going to be the ones that everybody else revolves around in the quote-unquote solar system of consciousness, right? The ones who have the know are the sun. And then everybody else, whatever position they play, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, or whatever like that, they play their little menial position. They play their little thing, they think that they're somebody, but it's not really that serious.
And
You
then,
know what I mean?
you want to answer better?
Like they have to get out of being not who they are. It's like you're saying, like, yeah, the sun, everything that the sun shines on, I have claim to. So I don't have to really claim anything, because like everything is our stuff. You know what I mean? This is again going back to what Drew Ali said with you know, like mountains of gold will be revealed to the Moors and all that stuff. You worry about gold, Oliver, get the chain. They got mountains of gold around here. You know what I
Didn't
mean?
they have Rothschild make some comment about something about I don't want to own anything as long as I have control of the finance, which is the energy, then I run everything.
Run everything.
So he doesn't need to have anything, but if he runs what you can perceive as what really makes things work, then he's controlling it all.
Right.
Right? And that's where, from the perspective I'm hearing you talk, and Cujo knows this, that's the level I'm on. I'm on that spiritual level, where I think we have to get ourselves through the national level of getting ourselves to that part where we can then become the divine. Because
Right.
until we can get over this stuff between us, then we're never going to be able to really. Because what I've seen with the true prophets, they don't have a great time down here because there's so much garbage. Their energy is really spent somewhere else. They can come here to do stuff, but they're not caught up with this stuff. Like you make that comment all the time of the world, not in the world.
Yeah.
Right? You're sort of you're here, but none of this matters to you.
Right.
So owning any of it wouldn't matter to you either.
Because this is not even.
Having a house, having money, having any of that, it's all a facade.
I mean, like everyone, like nobody looks at, like for example, you have the same idea. You know what I mean? You know, having these worldly stuff, right? You have Atlas, for example, sitting there holding the world, right? What world is he in? That is a being we're talking about. There is beings holding the world up, right? And he's holding the world up. Where is that being at? What's his environment consists of? Like when we say, light candle call the Orishas or whatever, or Orisha shows up. So yeah, here you go, whatever. Alright, where's Orisha going back to? You know what I mean? And we have to recognize our, divine link that supposed to convince us that we're God. You know what I mean? If we call on the ancestors, they show up, clearly they're hearing with whatever ears they got. In whatever realm that they're in, they can hear what we're saying here. It might not be relative there in words. You know what I mean? It might be a vibration on that level. It might be, like when in these movies,
ringing in our ear or something.
yeah, so like whatever it is, you know what I mean? We got to tingle up our spine, and we're looking at, hair raising, follicles opening, whatever like that. But that's not really what it's about when you get, goosebumps, or hair raises up on your spine, or on the back of your neck, hair raises up. It's not really hair raising up. There's a higher thing going on.
When Moor brought his message to the people, how many people knew that the Adam was God? You know what I mean? Like, how many people? Just the world leaders? You would say only world leaders. So you brought the message to. So you brought it as Allah. So if you only brought it as like a representation, then we have to like present it as what it actually is. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
well,
this is what it is.
Well, again, you know, like if we're saying, if we're looking at the Adam is God, then the Adam sent him.
Mm-hmm.
There's more reason for people to hear what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If God sent him, then ain't nobody else anybody should be listening to, because nobody else made the claim that God sent him, other than all the prophets.
No,
Only the prophets say that.
It's like it goes through all of us though, because it's like the way the creation was. It's like man is spirit man.
Right.
Soul man.
Yeah, on that realm, everybody's but on the earth plane, you know what I mean? Like it's like what the stream that the connection, the Wi-Fi connection that Noble Jawali had to download everything from Allah. Our stuff, we have 1 bar. He had 5. So our 1 bar, even though we're connected or whatever, we're not getting the same download stream. You know what I mean? What he's downloading in 2 hours is taking us 20 years. 50 years for us to download what he got.
And then I think the other thing to just add to that, I think all of us, let's say if you're talking about it from that Adam perspective of us being gods or people like that, all of us would be that.
Yeah.
And then if all of us were that, then none of this would really matter, because we'd all be even.
Yeah, and
See
that's the playing field that all humanity, I believe all humanity
should be on. But ultimately what's happened is certain people have taken the so-called word, the light, and they've taken it and held it for themselves.
Yeah, or they give the light in,
or they've used it to keep you down.
Yeah.
They actually use that stuff. So ultimately, where I see it is that really our purpose here is first of all to get ourselves up to that level, but also to bring everyone else up to that level. The problem is that we're fighting against a lot of the other soulful stuff, because the spirit is pure, right? Usually you don't have bad spirits, though there are. But most of the time the spirit should be out of the purity. It's usually the soul and the physical brain part that then has you connected with all this stuff.
Mind, egos, whatever
that's
else
like
that comes in.
the Pope and them, they know.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
But like, they want to worship, like they want to like say, nah, like I know that even in their like soulless body, they know that I'm like Adam. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they can say that.
Right.
But they're like, yo, but when I die, this like there ain't no afterlife for me. There
Right,
possibly won't be no afterlife for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you're absolutely right about
me
that.
back, and my body's going to dirt. So they're saying, screw this.
Right.
I'm bringing as many people as I can with me, and then it's like,
right. You're exactly
you know
right.
what I mean? And then it's like,
But again, still like
what's the halt? What's the real halt to them? Like, okay, and then I see, okay, no drug brought it as like.
Yeah, but you just called the halt. The halt is no afterlife for them. They can do what
they're bringing the whole world.
They can do whatever. They can do whatever they want. But again, like it's like, what would we expect from the place where? What do we expect from the place where the war in heaven, right? And everybody who was against the Adam got sent here. All the fallen angels came here. There's not some other realm, like this is last stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Start heading up.
Like when we look at the right? When you look at all the chakras, right? Like Earth is the base chakra. Right? Earth is the base chakra. This is where people are at. This is where they're stimulated. This is where everything happens for them. Right? All they want to do is be here. Now the ones who are from 4 up, if they have high concentrations of melanin, they're going to be coming back here every time until they realize that you need to be up here. You need to be Adam. Right? They'll be dwelling down here all their life. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Keep coming back. Not even realize that they just came back. Not even realize that past lives and all that stuff. They'll come back here and
So that's been happening to the soul.
That's just
like,
yeah.
since
however long that's been
like
happening.
the fall.
Yeah, right,
Exactly.
right. So
What we're saying is that is coming to an end sooner than later.
Right.
That whole process of
the time of dwelling here
is coming to an end.
it's going to be done.
See, because what I was thinking too, like my idea was, okay, make a claim to the ad, and we let them know, like, hey, this is what you guys are experimenting on, trying to do this, exchange element, whatever you want to do. That's
okay, bro. That's okay.
Yeah, but like you're saying,
that solely
they
belongs to us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That solely belongs to us.
right, but it doesn't belong to us if we're not claiming to be the Adam.
Because I'm trying to
Like,
avoid
like you can't-
I'm trying to avoid catastrophic events. You know, and I feel like
No, you can't prevent
I
that.
don't, but like I feel like there's a way to prevent
you can't
it. It's
prevent
like,
that.
well,
You
actually
don't-
happen.
you know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
He's right.
I
You can prevent it, but only from a personal point of view of getting yourself to that level, and then hopefully bringing people together. Even the greatest, the Jesus and all those things could never stop it.
Yeah, I mean,
What they tried to do is get people onto that thing because it's each person's path to the center. You can't drag people there, but you can say, hey, start heading that way. Right? You can't create that change. You can hopefully give them the impetus and the knowledge to get there. That's what the prophets were about.
like,
They're
look
many
at
outcomes, right?
look at what the tsunami that happened, right? All the human beings are at the beach wondering why the ocean's way out there. All the animals, they're not even around here. You're not even hearing no animals.
You know what?
When you watch them interviews about the stuff like that, the people talk about eerie silence before the freaking water came. Like silence so silent that silence like
You're hearing your own you're hearing your own heartbeat.
you're hearing your own heartbeat. No, you're not hearing no animals, no birds, no nothing like that. Cause 2 days ago those guys left. These people caught up in there swimming and drink on the beach, and we got a bar pool and all that stuff. Tsunami's coming in 2 days.
That's what you're talking about.
And again, that's the same thing, the catastrophic.
You're feeling the fact that it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah,
Right?
most definitely.
So really, what you would be doing, you might say to us, you better start heading for the hills. Now, if we don't start heading for the hills, you got two choices: either sit here and die with us,
Yeah, or head for the hills.
yourself. And while you're going along, keep going. Hey, you better start heading for the hills. You better start heading for the hills. You better start heading for the hills. Now, if you don't, then what you have, as Cujo will say, you have two choices: to die here with us, or to head for the hills and hope to meet the nucleus that has also headed for the hills.
That's headed for the hills.
And so that's where it is. So that's where I think you're on a great path.
Yeah.
But the issue is, I think you're coming at it from a much more enlightened path, and from a much more enlightened position
Than the people who need
than the average people. But
head for
this
the
is what
hills.
I come to, Cujo, that ultimately this is what will happen. You'll just be a hermit walking in amongst the hills, sort of astral projecting from here to there, transporting yourself from here to there. But ultimately, you're trying to wake people up. Cujo and I were talking about this today, that base chakra. How come the base chakra really is involved with the sex between the male and the female? That seems to be what pulls all of us for everything. But on those higher levels, it wouldn't be that sexual
intercourse.
that physical intercourse. It would be that mental intercourse.
Spiritual
that
intercourse.
spiritual thing, the light that would overcome all of that.
Right.
But yet, sexual energies are what drive 90% of us from those ages of 16 to 25, and that's where then we have these families, we get all messed up with all this stuff, the drink, the partying, all that stuff. That's the lowest base chakra, yet that's the shit that has us running up and down, and then has us marrying a couple of people, having picnics everywhere, all this kind of madness and all this stuff, right? So, but the instant, this is your problem, the instant that you step beyond that, you're going to find yourself in a barren field. Because most people are going to be like, this is too heavy for me. This is either too heavy for me, or for me to deal with this, then I got to give up my bedmate.
Right, and this is why Noble Jwali told the Moors, live close together.
Right.
Because you're only gonna be with the people, or you're only gonna be saved with the people who have a I'm saved mindset.
Right.
Like, you're not going to be saved with the people who, you're not going to be free with slave mentality people. If you're claiming that you're free with slave-minded people, you're probably not free. You're a slave under illusion.
Or you're like the Pope, who is enslaving those people to somehow run some game or get some advantage, which then again keeps you in the lower level too, because really then you're not really doing what you should be doing, which is telling people that tsunami's coming. And then the next thing is, the one thing that activates that next level is the stuff, the melanin, which is the stuff that really is what connects you, because like you said, the European doesn't have a soul. So if you're living with those people or acting in that way, then you're not going to be able to activate that.
And again, not you know that the European Moor or whatever, because there's the devilish Moors out there.
Yeah, people that went against Jesus, man.
Yeah.
They had to catch it nowhere.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we know, but we just want to close out. But so we know that there's two levels. There's the ones that are for the mental elevation of the people and them getting to that place where they start realizing they got to handle their own affairs and they got to come together and we got to unite and all the stuff that they're complaining about that we don't have. And then there's the ones that are against that. And
I feel like there's like going to be a point like between all of this where it's going to be like the eye or the storm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
1000%, brother.
And then
Right on.
And then it's going to be like everyone's going to be able to just click on the truth.
Yeah.
Like but it has to be presented in a certain way. But like,
Yeah,
because the way I see the world is like everyone's either between, they're stuck between 3 and 4, like the solar plex and their heart chakra.
Yeah.
Everyone's stuck between that.
yeah,
right now.
but why? Because Drew Ali told them love is the first principle since 1913, which is the fourth chakra. Yeah. So like when you look at, you know, when you have like, you know, when you have the wheel, the rims, and then the car's going that way, but the rim looks like it's going that way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where they're at, because they got what they needed to raise to their self, but they chose to not go with that because somebody said or they heard or whatever it is, which has them now in this limbo between the two chakras. But they're going to gravitate to the lower vibration because they're not even on the mindset to even know that they need to move
see,
toward.
like, everything. Everyone's picking up the information.
Oh yeah,
everyone knows
most
a little
definitely.
bit of this,
Most
a little bit of
definitely.
that, a little bit
Most
like, so it's
definitely.
like people can't even act like, oh.
Yeah, like they don't know or they never heard or
about
yeah.
chakras.
Yeah.
But you notice how they always seems to get a point where they sort of disconnect. Once you start stepping them along that level, and then you say, well, you know what you got to do? You got to come to this class and we got to get together and do,
I got it.
And then another part too is that, and this is what I talked to Kuj about this before, the sciences and the processes that were supposed to then, and the knowledge that was supposed to then jump you to the next level, the Europeans and the one that wanted to control got there ahead and then said, oh, you want to find God be the atom? Come to this building here and learn about Jesus, which is really the atom, the light. But then they tell you that this Jesus was a European guy who told you to do this and to do that and to do whatever. And then if you're not Christian, let's say, then let's say you were Muslim, then you come here and you have to pray to Allah, but what you need to do is pray to Allah 5 times, touch the carpet, and do this, and keep your woman down, and all this kind of stuff. So what they did was they made sure, and like you're saying, they made sure that it's like they got to that place in the road where they should have been saying go this way, and they were telling you to go that way. Right? And then what happened was you bought in. Even though when you walk down there and you pray to God, I hope that, you know, I get off on this charge tomorrow or whatever, and then you go to court tomorrow and you don't get off on the charge and you're like, what the fuck, where was God? You know what I mean? Well, God was within. And really what you should have been was you should have been there when you slapped the bitch. Sorry, excuse my language. You slapped the lady. You know what I'm saying? That kind of, excuse my language. When you're in that, or I shouldn't have robbed that thing or whatever, right? So that was the God within. Because it's really the awakening within.
Like man realizing that it was me.
Because this was another thing, and we can end on this. I thought to myself, if really God, and people always say this, if really God is there, why is there any of this evilness to begin with?
Right.
Like if really there was this God that controls everything and can make this happen and this not happen, why is there any problem at all? And I ask people who say that they're learned about that, and they always falter with this bullshit about the sin and the nonsense and the whatever. And what I've started to realize is really about holding that mirror up to yourself.
Exactly.
And saying, okay, what is it that I'm doing? What is it I've done
Or what do I have to do?
Because ultimately, you know, the only time you ever really have any problems is when some European with a gun and some handcuffs comes and tells you not to do this or not to do that. And you get hailed into court, right? Or you need to have a place to live and you have to go work at some job. Those are the only times when that stuff tends to sort of really come to you. Otherwise, you're self-governing. Right? You walk out here right now, you do whatever you want, except for some guy with a gun says, don't do this, and whatever.
It's not going to be.
Right?
You know, like if there was no highwaymen out there, right? Stuff would still be going on just like how it's going on out there right now. Right? But these people have given so much of their power to other things. Now all these other things are ruling them, and they're mad. Don't be mad. You gave them your power to rule you.
Yeah.
Don't be mad.
So it's like that's the thing. Like the whole.
Don't be mad.
Like the past few weeks, I'm just been tripping. Like yo, like these guys. Like I've been calling myself God. I've been screaming it though. Like it's like on like a hysterical level. Like I've been screaming like, oh God. I've been talking to people, yelling at people like, don't talk about I'm God. Things like that. I've been telling myself like, how do they know my names? Like I, me, and you. How do they know my names? I'm like saying shit like that. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out. Like I'm figuring out. And it's just like the you. Like these guys are throwing up the you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that physical body. And me is like possess the soul. The I is God. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, I look back at all the music that's been out here. Like they've been having this rap music perfectly. Doing it like crazy,
just talking
you know
about
what I'm saying? Like just using the like I don't know. I call it Hebrew, like but I call it like a broken like way about it. And I mean like saying like the Jamaicans speak this perfectly. They speak this language perfectly to not offend. Like you know what I mean? Certain things like that. And it's like now I come here. And I'm coming back here because I've been here before. I'm coming back and I know that, I know this, and I just feel like okay, I feel like if we make this claim, like this is what will happen. There will be like a halt in the world. All the world leaders will grab up all their corporate citizens, right? And all the nation states of the world will like kind of. Like we'll have to fall, and like corporations will be like kind of the only thing that's existing like amongst the nations. Not like a Canada, United States won't be there, but McDonald's will still be there. You know what I'm saying? FEMA will still be there. Like you know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
Like FEMA's gonna and they're just gonna gather it all up. But also like I'm seeing like if nothing really happens, then it's gonna be like a catastrophe where like. He just like destroys the world. You know what I mean? Like,
but again, you know, it's like when you look at Ice Age, same thing. Same stuff. People getting out of order or whatever like that.
What we're talking about
and stuff happening.
They're no longer throwing a blanket of ice on things. They're looking to cook shit right now. It was 49 degrees in Iran 2 days ago. 49 degrees. They're saying in Europe in the next 50 years the average temperature is going to be about 45 degrees. They're looking to. You know when you have something and they want to clean a field, they burn it? That's what's happening now. And what the deal is that we'll be able to be around because this melanin is about the one and only thing that will be able to last. We're the only ones that can stand up underneath the sun, the light, Lucifer.
Us and roaches and ants.
So straight.
But yeah, we'll close out. On the left, two on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. To His holy prophet. Noble Drew Ali. His love.
I'm watching as the National Guard shop gets set and drew prophecy of soldiers with bayonets. Martial law coming, all you blind, it's bigger than curfews. You're stateless and they living off your virtues. Vampiric, touching their hair, you calling them rude. Blacks are dead carcasses, they see energy food. While you riot and run among us, Moors look and cuss blacks out, Moorish Uncle Ruckus. You incompetent, not descendable, playing a fool. Or maybe not playing, cause I don't get what you're saying. You burn your own community down to the ground, but won't light up a precinct. You coward ass clowns, giving cars blackouts and windows busted lips. And the unity of CIA funded Bloods and Crips can be a step in the direction of King Alfred plan. If you wanna really be free, kill that straw man. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. In this electrifying age, they use weapons of sound. So yo, we shall overcome chance, all get drowned. Pepper spraying bystanders, the new water hose. Most rioters are undercover pros in black clothes. Throwing the first projectile to start the riot infection. Disappear in the crowd, get you for insurrection. Enemy combatant status is prisoner of war. Blacks accepted slave status when they're from these shores. The slave ships are your projects and prisons you love dearly, where your children get killed in yearly. You better hear me, handcuffs are the new noose. Clansmen trade sheets for badges and new suits. You damage, you loot, thinking that's petty crime. Marching for rights and revolving door prison pipelines. Either you wake up now or continue to suffer. Live under the thumb and watch for eye of Big Brother. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. True Ali had the solution if you would only listen. The new world order is standing on an older system. All that matters is you think before you feel, and recognize nobody talks in front the pyramid seal. And upside down the shadow becomes a 7. Stop acting like Rosie, life is not the Jetsons. In reality, life is more like having X-Men gifts. Dimension shift when you recite hieroglyphs. Open your chakras, kundalini energy shifts. Higher self out the lower desk, start feeling the split. Start getting your mind forward, not keeping your mind black. Watch where you walk, I've seen people swallowed by cracks. Stop talking, kill crackers, posing with gas the truth. It's time to plug in like a phone jack. Finally make the connection, make the correction. Blacks are abused for statelessness, not your complexion. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Let it burn, burn, baby burn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn. Maybe they would learn, learn, maybe learn.